Hey guys, how's it going? What is happening? Welcome back to another Q&A Sunday. Today's Q&A Sunday is going to be very focused. Last week's one was a bit all over the show, and to continue doing these weekly, I really thought that I needed to narrow it down. So this week's focus will be on photography, on my photography, all of the questions you guys have on photography that may not be specific to me, but just hopefully I can help out and answer your questions. So in saying that, I'm gonna get straight into it. I'm probably gonna do about 5 questions in this episode, so stick around and see if yours got answered. If it didn't, I'm really sorry. I got a lot of questions, but hopefully I'll get to answer yours in the next upcoming episodes and videos. Alright, this is kind of a 2-part question. Can you shoot some film? I am kind of shooting film. I don't shoot film consistently, but I have a film camera that I take every now and then, but I haven't had the photos developed in like 6 or 7 months. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but it's just like 7 months of adventures worth finding out in a few months. I think I have like 10 photos left on the roll of film, so should be pretty fun. What was your first camera? It was a Nikon D500, 5000, I believe, and I borrowed it from my grandpa. And that was my first camera, and I used that until I got some jobs, and then eventually saved up enough money to buy my first own camera, which was the Canon 70D. And from there it was the 70D, and then the Sony a7S, and now the 1DX. So you really can start with just a beginner camera and just build your way up and get better as it goes along. Essentially they all do exactly the same thing, so it really doesn't matter what camera you have. And I know I'm saying that because I have the 1D, and you can be like, oh, he's got the 1D, it doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, like, by having this camera now, the camera doesn't matter. So just take my word for that, and just work with what you've got and make the best out of what you have until you can upgrade. What's your favorite photo you recently took in New York? That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to think about that one, but I will put my favorite photo from my most recent trip to New York up on the screen right now. So let me know what you guys think of this. Give it a rating out of 1 to 10 down in the comments below. Did I kill this photo? Did I not? What do you think of it? Tell me all the things. Next one up, have you switched back to Canon, or are you still shooting on Sony? Hashtag Team Canon. I clearly just mentioned that I am back shooting Canon again. I have nothing against Sony, I have nothing against Nikon. I just love Canon for what it can do. I love the user interface. I love that I'm able to take both photo and video on my 1D, and it just does the job perfectly for everything I need to do. It's a powerhouse of a camera. Unfortunately, when I had the Sony a7S, it was really lacking on the photo side, and because I do both photo and video professionally, I needed to have that, and I didn't want to be switching between cameras all the time. So the 1DX was just the right fit for me, but I'm not going to say that I will stick to Canon forever. I'm very open to switching to Sony, less so than Nikon, but Sonys are really good. How do you upload sharp photos to Instagram? The compression is screwing me over. So I think one thing you want to make sure that you do when exporting your photos, if you are exporting from Lightroom, is make sure that it's exporting on the highest quality possible. There is an option to limit the file size of your export, so just make sure that that's checked off, and instead you turn the quality up to 100. That is how I do it. Those are my export settings. But other than that, not too sure. Just make sure you're shooting in RAW, so your photos are the biggest possible size they can be, so that when you do post it to Instagram, it compresses down to a larger file than a JPEG would be compressed to, if that makes sense. I completely forgot how many questions we're on, but this has been This has been pretty quick so far, so I'm just going to keep going until we hit about the 10-minute mark, and that should be good. So, up next from Quinn, do you ever click the shutter button with a finger different from your index finger? That is a great question, and sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I've done it with my middle finger before, but I don't know like what situation that would be. It's just like happened sometimes. So, good question. I can't really answer that one. What do you think the specs will be like for the Canon 90D? I don't even know when the 90D is coming out. It's on the 80D right now, I believe. But hopefully in the 90D they include 4K video, 120 frames a second. I think what the 1D can offer now, I really hope that they integrate those features into more beginner intermediate cameras, so that to get the quality of work that the 1D or even higher cameras can produce, people will be able to get that same quality at a much cheaper cost. I mean, even just with the Canon 1D right now, obviously it's still super expensive, but if you think back 5 or 10 years, you'd have to pay hundreds of thousands to get the quality that this camera can get. So I really do hope that they integrate better technology into cheaper cameras. Is full frame worth the price? This is actually a really good question. Is it worth the price? I think it depends if you're doing professional work or not. It is noticeable, but not by that much, in my opinion. I think that you can still get really professional results with the crop frame camera, and I had done that for many years before I did get the 1D, which was a full frame finally. So is it worth the price? I think it's worth the price if you have the money to spend on it, or you're willing to make the investment and go all in on photography or video. I do think it makes a big difference in video more so than photo, but invest the money and spend good money on getting a full frame if you really want to go all out in the photo or video career. What is your most important lens in your kit? Your go-to lens? I pretty much always keep the Canon 16-35 on. That just does the job perfectly for everything I need to do. I generally stick to travel, adventure, landscape, lifestyle kind of photos. So I use 16 for landscapes and 35 for portraits and lifestyle. So everything I need is in one lens. It's got the 2.8 aperture, so you can get that depth of field in portraits, and you can also pump the aperture up if you're doing bigger landscapes. So the 16-35 is my jam. To be honest, I don't really use any other lenses. I've borrowed longer zoom lenses in the past, but I always just revert back to the 16-35. It's just great for what I do, especially YouTube videos as well, so I can have that wide angle for filming videos like this. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Q&A Sunday. Please remember to send in your questions for next week as well, where the focus will be on something else, probably video like this one was on photography. So yeah, I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend, and I hope you have an amazing week going ahead. I have a really exciting project that I'm busy working on. Actually, two really exciting projects that I'm busy working on throughout the course of the next week. So I'm going to be super busy, just busy all around. But I'm going to try my best to keep posting videos, keep you guys updated with things, keep you in the loop, and yeah. I'm going to end this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like the video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And in the meantime, remember to stay weird, don't die, and make it happen. I'll see you guys in the next one.